morning and welcome to your favorite show, the Sunday show on your channel of choice, Africa Independent Television, AIT. We are glad you could join us again. It is the early stage of this year's rainy season, and sadly, hundreds of lives have already been lost to flash floods. How do people living along the flood-prone areas cope with the downpours when it intensifies? Well, the Mokwa incident in Niger State comes to mind, and on the Sunday show, we commiserate with those affected by the devastated flood, while praying for the repose of their souls of the victims. We acknowledge also the loss of properties to flash floods at other states and locations, incidents that are yet to be reported or never reported. Rains truly have its bad and good sides. While farmers ask for rainfalls to facilitate their activities at the farmlands, for instance, travelers by air, land, and waterways do not appear to have it rosy while it rains. Our show today is not just about the season. It will seek to address the issues of general safety, mostly on the Nigerian roads. It is clear, however, that now that the rainy season is here, it is becoming even more challenging to drive through the wet surfaces and sometimes muddy roads, not forgetting the potholes covered by water. The inability to abide by basic rules and regulations on the roads, the speed limits, regulations, crime and criminalities on the roads facilitated by the use of fake documents, and all others shall be examined. A top Federal Road Safety Corps official, whose identity we shall disclose soon, will be our guest. Please stay tuned as we refresh your minds on the issues that made news during the week. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back. Road signs and markings are essential in maintenance of sanity and most especially safety on the roads. In Nigeria, It is either the signs and markings are not provided or road users totally ignore the use if they are actually provided. The issue of who has the right of way at any given time is another crucial one, which is the speed lane and which vehicle at the time it should be on it. Some registrations, plate numbers are not authentic, and road users must be mindful of this. On a wet surface, what should be the ideal speed limit? Those are some of the issues we shall be engaging our guest, who is Mr. Olusegun Olugbemide, who is the Assistant Corp Marshal, Federal Road Safety, FCT, Abuja.
Grab your seats and join us on the most fascinating 60-minute infotainment journey, showing on your favorite TV channel, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Analysis on topical national issues, news, sports, and entertainment are on the menu. It's a show you do not want to miss. It is The Sunday Show.
It's still The Sunday Show on Africa Independent Television, AIT, and it is a program that is meant to educate you, inform you, and of course, entertain you. But today, we're looking basically on educating Nigerians on the wheels, and the topic today is safety on the road. And today I have a big fish in the house, and I'm glad to introduce to you Mr. Olusegun Ogungbemide MNI, Assistant Corp Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corp, Education, Public Education Officer, FRSC, Abuja. I'm glad to have you join us.
Pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Yes, this is a morning program, and everything we're going to say has to do with morning. And of course, we'll begin this way. Policy making and issuance of driver's license. Can you please educate Nigerians on most especially on this angle?
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you, Nigeria. Good morning. By virtue of the Establishment Act 2007, Federal Road Safety Corps is given the mandate to design and produce driver's license for the state. We don't have any business dealing with individuals. The state happen to be our customer or clients, whichever way you want to look at it. And the essence of this, I would say, emanated from years back, when prior to the establishment of Federal Road Safety Corps, we had proliferations of driver's license all over the federation.
You can actually sit down in the house and
states, every state
sit down in the house and somebody brings you the license.
Has different designs, no database. You can, like you said, you can sit in the comfort of your home and get your driver's license. Even people were not trained before they procured this driver's license, which eventually led to a series of road traffic crashes, where Nigeria was rated as #5 country in the entire world with the highest rate of road traffic crashes.
Which is too much.
Then we're talking of close to 42,000 deaths then, unlike what we have today. This prompted the government of the day to say there must be a kind of control. And they decided on National Vehicle Identification Scheme, a unified one, where the issuance of driver's license and number plate became centralized so that it can be well regulated.
Now, talking about driver's license, I'm not trying to cut you short. For Nigerians to actually know how important it is to have the right, the correct driver's license,
Yes.
I happened to experience it my very first time of traveling to America. That was one of the things that was required of me to enter a particular hall, that I was to enter to do one or two things. And the moment my details was typed on their system, it popped up everything about me in Nigeria.
Okay.
You
That
see
means making reference to Nigerian driver's license.
Exactly. I'm talking about my own Nigerian license because it was requested from me. If you have it, can you produce it? Because it gets to a point where some places you get to, your Nigerian passport may not allow you to get in there. And I also now discover again that same day the importance of our national identity.
Okay.
And all of this are interwoven.
Exactly.
So it's beautiful. Continue with
That's where we aim to get to when we started this process. And that's exactly where we are today. Nigeria's driver's license is rated as one of the documents that is acceptable in some Western countries.
Globally.
Yes, where before you are even allowed to have their own local driver's license, you are permitted to use that document as a means of both identification and to make use of their road. And how did we get to this point? We know the essence of having a database, like you rightly said, for us to have that global acceptance, that at the point of injecting your details, everything about you comes out. It wouldn't have been like this in the past when we were having manual approach, and the identification wouldn't have been there. And secondly, the new driver's license has the features that really separates them to where we're coming from, the security features that you can easily identify the fake from the original. And the process of acquiring this driver's license is another mess. If you tell me today the process of getting your driver's license, I'll be able to tell you without going too far whether it's fake or original. If you say, oh, when I got to road safety office, I give them my passport, and after a few days, I got my driver's license, I will tell you it's fake. But if you're able to give me the narrative on how you passed through the driving school, did the CBT test, then they gave you the driving school certificate, which is auto-coded, and from there, you assess the portal, which eventually led you to the point of Federal Safety Corps where you are captured and your biometrics are taken.
I experienced all that.
I will know surely what you have with you.
In 2019, we had the former Corps Marshal come to the studio on Focus Nigeria, and on that same day, I was arrested at this Nyanya junction. I went to see a colleague who was down. Yeah. So on my way coming back, I didn't know that actually what I had in my hand was fake driver's license. And I also acquired it somewhere, I will not mention name.
Okay.
And of course, I had to call on Kubisi Kazim.
Okay.
Your boys have captured me. He said, okay, next time don't do this. Don't call me, but send a message. But let me talk to whoever. Yeah. So he just spoke with them and said, allow her to come. She's coming to the studio. Okay. And I was to do transmission of the live program. So I immediately after the program, he said, you have to follow us to the headquarters.
Yes,
so
to get the correct one done.
I went through all the process and now understood the difference. So it's not only until you get to headquarters, there's
all over. We have the capture centers all over the places.
But I think all of us are lazy in wanting to do the
I think that's the major undoing of this nation, where everybody wants to cut corner. And you know the painful aspect of it, like you rightly said now, for those that have traveled wide, they always have this way of boasting that it took them almost 6 months, rigorous 6 months, after going through a lot of tutoring.
I couldn't drive because I do not have the Nigerian International driver's license.
Yes.
So you need to talk about that.
So they celebrate the pains they pass through out there before they get their driver's license. But coming back home, they want to cut corners. And that's why today we'll talk about the high rate of reduction in road traffic crashes, how they compare to what we have in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Because there's no room to cut corners over there. But here, every policy you put in place, somebody somewhere planning on how to
all right.
disregard it.
Let's look at plate numbers.
Yeah.
A lot of us have been oppressed on the road with all kinds of different plate numbers. And there was a time some of us, or everybody was informed that we need to also work on our plate numbers, that some are bleached.
Okay.
Yes, and we went ahead.
Faded, yes.
Yes. So, but a lot of all these EU, Corps Marshal, whatever, plate numbers. I need you to talk to us about fake plate numbers in Nigeria. Tell us about it, because that is the in thing now. I see some maybe uniformed men stop people on the road.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, after all the thorough check, the ones that actually want to do the right thing
Yes.
will discover that those foreign numbers plates they are having is actually fake.
You're right.
So tell us about it.
The commercial got inundated sometimes, I think towards the later part of last year, about the high rate of fake number plates all over the places. Actually, prior to this time, we've been having pockets of arrests, but it got so bad that virtually all the number plates, almost, I can't really count it, the number plates you have, especially those that have diplomatic lettering and background, became, you know, a kind of thing that
Bragging rights.
that
Kind
took
of
over
bragging
the
rights,
space,
yes.
all our road space. And it got so ridiculous to the point that the consulates of some countries started coming to our headquarters to complain. I could remember, I think, United Kingdom embassy sent some of their staff to say that they are not too sure of the security of their personnel. Because at times when they go to the airport to pick their personnel, they notice they have replicate of their own number plate at the airport.
Wow.
And they don't have any knowledge of where that person is actually coming from. You know, it's a high level of insecurity. And this prompted the commercial to take the bull by the horn and directed that all the operatives of Federal Safety Corps all over the Federation should start the arrest of this number plate, fake number plate. And it also attracted the interest of the National Security Advisor and even the presidency that this is taking a security dimension and we cannot keep quiet and allow things to continue. And
So
it
you might need to show Nigerians the difference?
Yes, you'll be so surprised that some of these people, after interrogation, confirmed that they paid so much
To who?
they're still under investigation. All the necessary security agencies that are given the mandate to do that are doing that with all the strength is required. They pay so much to get this number.
So this one you are holding
Like
now,
this one I'm holding now is, they say they call consulates. Meanwhile, this is fake. The one for the call consulate, you can see the difference.
oh my goodness.
Between the fake
difference is just
and
too
the
obvious.
original.
Yes.
But to an
Can we
ignorant,
bring it out from the
Yes.
polythene? Yes.
To an ignorant Nigerian or
So
security
this brown
agencies,
is the real
this
color.
is the real color.
And then the purple is the fake.
Is the fake. And this is not for the public. It's for the consulate. It's for the foreign mission. That is what we have. And eventually, in the course of our investigation, we come to realize that the essence of this is for them to beat the security agencies.
Oh, wow.
They want to have a kind of impunity where they move on the road, even when there are infractions, nobody stops them. Because by virtue of the law, you don't have the right to stop, diplomats. You can only report. You can only get back to their embassies and lay report, but you can't stop them by the global law.
So
that
it means that
empowers them.
such vehicles wearing this fake plate
Yes.
can actually use it to commit
They
crime.
definitely, because when someone has some contrabands or some measures of crime being undertaken by the vehicle, it can easily pass through the security points without being stopped. And we also have, like the one that talks about United Nations. This
We
is the
still need
original.
to have it out of
Yes,
the
this is original.
poly bag.
You can see it with, you can see the white lettering on purple background. That is the original, but you can see the same thing. The fake, this one I'm holding by my right hand side now is the fake. And you can see the difference.
It's too clear.
And we also have so many of them that different organizations that are not recognized by law. You see this one, United African Union Agenda 2063.
What is that?
How do you relate this? And the only establishment that is allowed by law to produce, design, and print out number plate is Federal Road Safety Corps, with the exception of the franchise that is given to Lagos State to produce private commercial.
Okay.
Even Lagos has no business producing this
So it is only
diplomatic
Lagos
number
State
plate.
that, apart
Yes, they
from-
have, apart from Federal Road Safety Corps now.
Okay.
They have the franchise to produce, you know, for private commercial and the fancy number plates.
Okay.
So, and most of these are individuals, let me say citizens, because of
What is this one? NAF?
this one now says National Peace Forum.
Okay.
I don't know where it's coming from. And they pay so much to get this. They even tell you that he's recognized by presidency. You can see this one. This one is presidency. And you now see organizations coming around to defend this. Can you tell us the source of this number plates? They are lost. They start tracing. It's not even something you can pick up directly.
Wow.
It's from one hand to the other. But the necessary, like I said, agencies are really working on this. Please, I want to really use this avenue to speak with members of the public that the only establishment that is empowered, like I rightly said, to design and print, produce number plates is Federal Road Safety Corps. And the one that is franchised to Lagos is commercial, private, then, like I said, fancy numbers. Fancy number is,
The
I
one that
feel
has
like,
to have my name.
I feel like having my name
Yes.
as my number plate.
Okay.
And in order
Because
to
I see
discourage
a lot
it,
of these presidency plate numbers everywhere.
they
driving
are
around.
fake. With the exception of the National Assembly number plate.
That one is
is
also
being,
a lot of-
you,
a lot of
that you
them.
have a lot of them. So we have all these, our numbers that are done through our office in the database, that where it is injected, every details of that person comes out. And we also do the number plate for the government, various forms of government. But one thing that is peculiar to private and commercial is that number plate is now personalized. Every biometrics, every details of that number plate has to do with the owner. So the day you are releasing that vehicle, either you pick your number plates or you transfer all your details
To that person.
to that person.
person you're
That's to
selling the
replace
vehicle.
your details from the person you are selling the vehicle to. And that's the essence of security. So now, at times, you have somebody committing atrocities all over the places and is able to escape the hands of the law. And we ask ourselves, how did he escape? How will he not be with what we have on ground? So this is where we are, and that's where the country or the presidency is saying all hands must be on
Enough
deck
is enough.
to stop this. And they are taking charge on this.
Well, another area I still want us to look at is traffic signs. And of course, a lot of us you're going to work this morning, you have just 200,000 naira in your account and you're returning back to work, you have 2-point-something million, and you know what that means. You just branch any of the car garages, pick a vehicle, and you're driving home. So such a person who have not even gone through proper driving trainings or tests, and he's already on the road because the car just moved the gear, you're moving. How does that kind of person not crash? Because he does not even know the road signs. You see matured people, you see big cars, jeeps, beating traffic lights. Just here in Cotonou, if you beat traffic lights in ordinary Cotonou here, they won't ask you for anything. You'll be picked and kept. Every junction, there's a small cell. And the person, they will lock the person inside, the individual. You can also find out. I'm sure you know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to paint the picture. The person is picked and kept in that place for 6 hours. That is the person's punishment. Because ordinarily, if you're normal, you cannot beat traffic light. But we see a lot of that in Abuja.
Yes, I will pick this from a different angle.
Okay.
Because we were thinking of proficiency, which is not totally the issue of proficiency. One, I'll pick it from the level of ignorance that has to do with proficiency, not trained. Because some will even tell you, I didn't go to driving school. I only learned, I learned by driving, I entered and I started. So such person might not really have understanding of what the science is. Then the second level are those that has to do with morals. I know what it takes I know the science, but that measure of impunity, you will see your people will always tell you that when they come from abroad, they keep to their rules. But the moment they touch the airport, they feel they have entered their fatherland and nobody can touch them.
Do anyhow.
So those are the people that sees a traffic light on red and feel, well, who will stop me? If you know the number of crashes that are recorded in Abuja, FCT alone, as a result of beating traffic lights. So
horrible.
Because by virtue of the process of acquiring driver's license, you are not expected to acquire driver's license without going through driving school.
Oh, yeah?
FRSC has done the right thing by improving on the standard of our driving schools. We call it Driving School Standardization Scheme. It's a scheme put in place
I went through
that until you are certified as a good driving school, you cannot have applicants. And when you do that for 26 working days syllabus, you are now allowed to go for CBT, where you'll be tested. And if you're able to score, I think 70%, the certificate will come out.
A lot of Nigerians fail it abroad.
Ah,
For 6 months, you are going for one
you
test.
go for it,
One
but they
driving
don't
test,
complain.
and you keep failing and
They
failing.
celebrate it.
And it's
But
paid
here,
for. Every course
everyone you go and you repeat, you pay.
you pay for it.
But here, when it comes, they feel they were almost still seeing us as nuisance. That's why you troubling me. I passed through VIO. I failed the first test because then I used B2. And you have to use drum, reverse,
Yes.
to go through the drums.
They put it like
and
this.
after failing the first step,
through
they
it.
gave me another 2 weeks to come back.
Exactly.
That means I spent another 2 weeks learning how to reverse. And that's why today I can reverse from FCT to
Even
Lokoja.
inside this room.
Because I learned a hard way. So
Very
when you are
hard.
asked to go through
Once they
this,
position those two drums,
it's not
come
for the
on now.
fun of it. It's for your own safety. It's for the safety of Nigerians. So having gone through this training, there's no way you go through the training without knowing what the road sign says.
Exactly.
And that's the essence of it. So all of us, I used to make a joke in those days when we were training some articulated drivers, that an average articulated driver will come to Lagos and will praise Fashola in the days of Fashola, that he has beautified the entire road with furniture. He's not seeing it as road signs. He's not seeing it as the road communicating to him. He's seeing it as designs to beautify the road. You know, they are very colorful.
Yes.
That's the way he sees it. So, and this same person is the same man you are sharing the road with. When he sees a sign saying narrow road ahead, it has not communicated to him. And the same speed is coming, is entering that road.
It's entering
Meanwhile, innocently, you are coming from the other side,
Exactly.
thinking that the man will respect the sign. So that's the danger of not understanding the road signs, of not knowing what the road sign says, and that leads to series of road traffic
Even
crashes
when
that
the
we
sign
have.
says one way.
One way. Is
Some people go
he,
enter
does he
am.
know the meaning? One way, he does not even understand what the meaning. Secondly, he wants to be smart. A lot of people have been killed on our roads by drivers going against the traffic.
Yes.
And you recall, if you are the careless road user, you just want to cross the road smartly, looking at one side, forgetting that one irresponsible road user is coming against the flow of traffic.
Can you explain to me what defensive driving is?
Defensive driving is very simple. It's ability to drive, holding your own destiny in your hands, irrespective of what the law says. Irrespective of what the law says, what the traffic says, you should be able to drive with consciousness that you are sharing the road with other road users that have the tendency of being called mad. So when you are sharing the road, it's like you see a madman coming towards you. Will you go to him?
No.
You take dressing
Yes.
and avoid him. That's the essence of defensive driving. That while you are still making use of that road, it doesn't matter whether you are right or wrong, but drive in
If
such
you are
a
claiming
way.
right at that point.
Yes, because when FRSC guys goes to clear road traffic crashes, they don't ask at that point who is right or wrong. We only
They need
try
to.
to rescue and make sure we save lives. So if you're able to drive defensively, you know that, oh, there's tendency for one man to go against traffic. So you prepare. You understand that that man that is going ahead of you, trafficating to the right, could actually be going to the left.
It has happened to me
Severally.
That's happened
So
to
if
me
you
several
don't
times.
have your
I'm like, what is going on?
if you don't have your driving distance, you run into him.
I also noticed that a lot of us are actually crazy. You drive through Abuja roads, somebody will come out from an in-road
In-road
into
to
the
the main road.
express, and he's on phone.
Yeah.
From the way he will stagger and try to struggle with himself, whichever way I want to put it, by the time you drive past him, you discover that the character is on phone. Your men were really, really on ground, cutting down all of this. But what is really going on right now?
If there's any menace, road traffic infraction that has been so overwhelming, is this issue of distracted driving. Because the truth is, many of us are guilty. You can hardly, if you count 10 vehicles on Nigerian roads today, you can hardly count one that is driving without being distracted.
Yes.
About 9 out of the 10. And, you know, enforcement is strategic. Because when you are dealing with a recalcitrant offender, many of them these days, they're becoming more aggressive. And they appreciate the fact that FRSA operatives are not harmed. So rather, we are like always at the receiving end. You stand in front of a vehicle to stop the vehicle, and the man tells you he's going to kill you. And we also learn the act of when we are caught, we drop the phone, and we start arguing. Oh, you have proved that you saw me.
Some
You
will
know,
tell you I'm using hands-free.
it's not about whether you use hand-free or leg-free. It's
Even
about
with
the
the hands-free,
content.
you can be distracted.
That's the essence.
What if the person that called you is giving you a message that will make you
Either-
lose
either-
concentration
either-
immediately?
That's the word, lose concentration. Because it's
Yes.
not just about painful messages coming in. What-
Yes.
even the one that will bring joy could still distract you.
Exactly.
If they just told you now that you want some
200
millions
million.
in the course of celebrating, you can misbehave. And that's why we say is when it is important for you to take that call, find a place and
Pull
park.
over.
Do you know somebody was making call in front of a red light and we got him arrested? He said, even when the light stopped me, and I said, assuming you are talking to your boss and you are stopped by the red light and the light turns to red, green, you tell your boss to keep quiet that your light is now on green, you want to move.
Yes.
How do you reconcile the two? There's no shortcut to
It
all
makes
this.
no sense.
It's either we are doing the right thing
So let us also
or
look
we are
at
leaving it.
seatbelt,
Yes.
emergency preparedness.
Yes, seatbelt to a large extent, I think is a battle we've won over the years.
Yeah.
And
A lot of us still misbehave.
people got to understand why we are asking people to use seatbelt. It's all about, it's a feature put in place by those that manufacture the
Of the
vehicle
cars.
for your own personal safety. Many have given the testimony. A colleague of mine had a kind of 3-roll somersault recently. The vehicle stopped. She pulled out the seatbelt and came out intact because she was intact. But when you see, do you know some even see it as a kind of fashion? I don't want it to stain my clothes. But I realize that when seatbelt stains your clothes, it's easier to wash than when blood stains your clothes or when you break your neck. So when I tell you here to use seatbelt, I'm not pampering you. I'm telling you to use it for the sake of your own personal safety and the other road. Even at the rear seat, you are expected to use seatbelts. Because if the man in front or those in front use seatbelt and you fail to use seatbelt and there's a somersault, you can be used as a weapon to even finish those that use seatbelt.
I was also
So it's all encompassing.
Yes, after checking through everything about my vehicle, the driver's license, the papers of the car, I was kept for a few hours for not having razor blade. Can you tell me more about that?
For not having razor blade.
Yes.
I would rather call that overzealousness. It's not part of our rules that if you don't have a razor blade, you should be arrested.
In the case of emergency.
In the case of emergency, to do what? Because I think when issues of razor blade actually came up, is when people were having issues with breakdown vehicles, and for those that use seatbelts to tow their vehicle.
Okay.
Which is also illegal for you to use another vehicle to tow a vehicle. It must be a tow truck. So for those that were looking for blade in those days, is to use it to cut the seatbelt, to tow, that means you have deprived yourself the safety. of the seatbelt. So if you are talking of having the blade in your first aid box, maybe in the course of road traffic crashes, you want to attend to bruise and what have you, you need the blade, maybe to cut bandage to stop bleeding, I will appreciate that.
Okay.
But for saying you were held down for not having blade, I'm not.
That was some years anyway.
That. Okay, maybe we are more refined now.
Well, when should I use my high beam or headlights?
Yes.
Most especially driving at night. And this period is rainy season and it's very foggy in the north, especially when you drive through this Kubwa Express. Like those of us who come to work very early in the morning, by 5:15 I'm already driving through Kubwa Express and the lights, the street lights are not working. And that is the period these articulated vehicles drive past that road to wherever to link up with another state.
I think there's a lot of evolution when it comes to mobility.
Okay.
I recall a few years back, many of us were sanctioned for, you know, in those days, if you use your headlamp during the day, we'll book you. Not knowing that.
Yeah, but some vehicles come with it.
That's what I'm saying. Not knowing that there were a lot of evolution in the Western world there. That the moment you ignite your vehicle,
it is done there because of fog.
It's automatic. But here, you know, those, maybe the bulk of the vehicles we are using here are all Belgian. And so it came with all those technology.
Yeah.
So we were arresting them until we got to know that these things are factory fitted. So we now soft-pedal on that and appreciated the reason why they're having it. There's what we call common sense speed limits. Common sense speed limits.
Common sense. Those of us want to throttle down.
Irrespective of what we tell you, that, oh, speed is 100 kilometers per hour. Common sense speed limit says if you wake up in the morning and there's fog, how can you go on 100 kilometers per hour when you cannot even see your nose from your eyes? So you go as far as your eyes and your mind can take you, and visibility. The same thing goes with this headlamp.
Yeah.
If you wake up in the morning and there's fog everywhere, there's need for you to put on your headlamp, even if it's full headlamp, to penetrate the fog for other road users, especially these single lane, to see the oncoming. And like you rightly said, we also have come to understand now that even automatically, the moment you ignite, it shows till late. And the last one is when you are driving under normal circumstances, you don't need to embarrass the other road users. You don't need to assault the other driver by putting your full
like
light.
those of us who use glasses, if you have your headlamps too bright, it gets into my eyes,
especially
and
at light.
The eyes will almost go like it's totally black.
So please, you just need to be conscious of your environment. When it's night, you dim your light, also indicating to other road users that, okay, you are coming. But the one that has dangerous dimension is these people that makes use of bends at night. They off their lights with the intention that they will see the other man coming from the other bend. Forgetting that the man could have the same intention with them, off his own lights too, for him to see this other man. What do you see?
Everybody
head-on collision. Because you assume nobody is coming. He assume nobody is coming.
Exactly.
Then the next thing, that's why we have
the
head-on collision at
a kiss. That's a kiss.
Not
just... All right, your last thought. This rainy season, people, though we don't want to talk about public transport drivers, because I'm sure your men are really doing a great job. You go to different motor parks, you see your officers there educating the public transport operators on what not to do, especially some who wake up in the morning on an empty stomach, they're already gulping stuffs, which makes them crazy. So, but we thank God that you men, God gave us to at least change a couple of things with us. So your last thought before we go.
The commercial actually changed the narrative last year when he came on board. That's commercial Shehu Mohammed, MNI, who coincidentally today is there. This, you know, he got by 29th of May, he celebrated his birthday.
Wow.
So we were always in the celebration mode at this moment. He said we've
I should go to his office now
yes.
and have my own share of cake.
He said we've done enough of motor park rallies talking to drivers. That let us have something different. We've done it in the last 37 years. Then our focus for last year was on commuters themselves. Hold your destiny in your hands.
In your hands.
Even if you line up 32,000 FRSC, they can't cover Nigerian road network.
It's not possible.
There's a point you get to, you don't even see operatives. But you are in that vehicle throughout your trip. Be the ambassador of FRSC. Nigeria, they say speak out in the face of reckless driving, because more passengers are killed in crashes than drivers.
Yes, the driver might escape.
It paid off last year because we had reduction in road traffic crashes by 10%.
Because right there, as you are an occupant of the vehicle, your life is in your hands.
When it's talking, when it's misbehaving, you
Call it
react.
caution.
You call it. It doesn't matter whether it's going to listen to you, but his seed is planted. And many of them do listen. But why we're not having results in the past is because there's no cooperation among the commuters. Why this man says the driver is too slow, this one is saying I'm going for an interview. Before you know it, there are crashes. What could lead a crash to getting involved in inferno, if not excessive speed? And that's where we are. So we are pleading with members of the public, especially for those that are adopting commercial means of transportation. Your life is important. It's in your hands. FRSC will always do its own bit, but you have a major role to play, especially as we are going into this Salah break. You know, there will be a lot of movements. We've started the advocacy. I'm also using this medium to say it's only the living that can celebrate this one and the more years to come.
Exactly.
Please, as you are moving, don't drop your life and safety in the hands of the driver alone. Be conscious. Some, the moment they enter the vehicle, little breeze, they are off. I've said it severally. Some get killed without feeling the pains of death because they were sleeping. They just open their eyes now and see themselves at the gate of heaven. I don't know. So they should join FRSC. The Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed says, please drive safely so that you can support FRSC.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We've been speaking with Mr. Olusegun Ogungbemide, MNI, Assistant Corps Marshal, FRSC Public Education Officer. Thank you so much for making our time to come join us, to educate us.
It's a pleasure.
I hope when next we say, please, sir, you will also show up.
Always at your service.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Sunday show, we'll be right back.
Grab your seats and join us on the most fascinating 60-minute infotainment journey, showing on your favorite TV channel, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Analysis on topical national issues, news, sports, and entertainment are on the menu. It's a show you do not want to miss. It is The Sunday Show.
It is indeed a privilege to have him on the show today. Thanks a lot for joining us. Welcome back. Wow, it is amazing how time flies when crucial matters of the citizens' well-being are being discussed. We want to believe that a lot have been learned from this engagement, and we hope it helps us in decision-making while we drive through the good and the bad roads spread across our country, Nigeria. The Sunday Show crew appreciates your engagements and urge you to keep interacting with us through our social media platforms. Now permit us to take you to the world of entertainment, better known as Vibes and Views and Newsmaker. Don't go anywhere.
When you talk entertainment and showbiz in Nigeria, no doubt the city of Lagos is the hub. Hence, in preparedness for the 9th edition of the All Africa Music Awards, AFRIMA, the African Union Commission, and the International Committee of AFRIMA, deemed it fit to announce Lagos as the host city for the ceremony, scheduled for November 25th to the 30th, 2025.
Welcome you all to this edition for 2025. We call it Calendar of Healing, OCT Announcement and Music Conference for Afrima 2025.
Today is more than a date on the calendar. It is a reaffirmation of the enduring partnership between the African Union and Afrima, and our shared belief that music is not merely sound, it is a strategy.
The unveiling of the host city was recently announced in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, by the organizing committee of Afrima.
On behalf of the International Committee on Africa Music Awards, Afrima, and the African Union Commission, I'm really honored and so excited to announce our next destination. We are going home! Nigeria, Lagos.
The Afrima Awards 2025 will be held from 25th November to 30th of November in Lagos, Nigeria.
Lagos would be welcoming leading and promising African music superstars, creative industry professionals, the international media, members of the diplomatic corps, and music fans globally.
You have to have an artist who is Pan-African at heart. Afrima has always called on me and I've always shifted things away to be here.
The Afrima 2025 is anchored on the bold theme, Unstoppable Africa.
Unstoppable Africa!
And that's my package for you. My name is Anu Awojabi.
On the definition of who is a spokesperson, on what are the roles of a spokesperson, and not to. You see, there are certain times that a spokesperson must know when to pull back, when not to comment, when not to say anything. It's not all the time that you talk. Otherwise, you talk yourself out of tune. Now, let's go international. Look at Donald Trump. He's the toast all over the world now. Just as he was in the days of COVID, when we were all restricted. My wife and I used to sit down and watch the theater called Donald Trump during the COVID. And he was one who said, let them take Lysol. Take Lysol. And Deborah, the doctor, Deborah Burns, was looking at him. What is this man saying? And she couldn't react. Now, imagine what Donald Trump is now doing. He has some good ideas. He wanted to raise more revenue for America. They are in heavy deficit and they keep printing dollars. But he's going about it the very wrong way, and the whole thing has turned over his head. He doesn't know when to stop. He has now become the spokesperson for himself, and a damaging spokesperson for that matter. Almost every day is in the Oval Office and speaking. A president does not speak the way Donald Trump is speaking. And then you go forward, you come backward, and now 150% tariff on China, and then you backpedal. There will be no tariff on laptop, no tariff on a smartphone, no tariff on this. A president does not go forward and backward. As a result, he's losing the confidence of people. And because he's talking too much, I'll give another example. Contrast the situation between Zelensky and Donald Trump and the interaction between Keir Starmer and Donald Trump, two spokespersons speaking for their own country. Well, Zelensky, out of inexperience, allowed Vance, the vice president, to provoke him. And when you are dealing at international level, you have to at times be stupid. Zelensky could not bear it when Vance provoked him, and he reacted negatively to Donald Trump is an egoistic character. Then contrast Zelensky's reaction to Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer came in, he knew he was dealing with an egoistic character. And what did he do? He delivered a letter for King Charles. And he gave the letter in such a gracious manner to an egoistic Trump and said, you are going to be invited for another state visit. It has never happened. You will come. And by this time, Donald Trump was thinking of the gold carriage. How he's going to ride another gold carriage at the mall in UK and everything. He forgot everything, and Keir Starmer, as a spokesperson, engaged Donald Trump, studied his character, and gave him what he wanted. And you can see the gain. When he was doing all the tariff, he gave UK, I think, 17%, when he was giving 50% to China. So you see, again, a spokesperson will study the situation, the subject, the character, and the background of what you are dealing with. So a spokesperson must be deep.
Okay, with the vibes and views and, of course, the newsmaker, we'll call it a day. The curtain has to drop here. Thank you so much, and that is the size of our package for today. Please keep a date with us next week, same time, same station. We promise to bring you another thought-provoking topic. Remember to treat others as you would want to be treated. Do have a fulfilled week. Bye now.